What's up, YouTube? We are here with a map update for a reference guide, a spreadsheet that will show you all of the different maps and basically ranks all of the different maps on boss difficulty, increased item quality, increased currency quality, pack size, and then give an overall score for each of the maps. Like, what if you're ever asking yourself the question, hey, what is the best map right now to run for density or for bossing or simply just for rushing through and completing it because you want to get a certain number of maps completed? What are the best? Well, thankfully, Lifeinagildedcage, the Reddit user, Lifeinagildedcage, has gone and updated this wonderful tool and this wonderful document. I'm going to link the Reddit thread down below in the information section. But today we're going to take a look at this map reference document, and it's really a gem. I mean, it really is awesome. We're also going to link directly to the document down below so you can take a look. But it's a really awesome spreadsheet. So here's his own description of it. We're going to take a look at Gilded Cage's own description of what this spreadsheet is and what it does. We're going to try and get this so that way hopefully we can see the whole screen here. But essentially this is a beautiful tool that if you play PoE, you should be using it because it's going to be really helpful for you as you are playing and deciding how to shape and build your atlas. So there we go. All right, so let's take a look here. This spreadsheet contains a description of each map affix as well as how dangerous it is, in my opinion. Certain mods will be a cakewalk for some characters and near impossible for others. So ensure you do research on which mods worst affects your character. Mods also have weighting, which indicates how likely they are to appear on a randomly rolled map. Higher weighting equates to higher probability. Note some mods cannot appear together. For example, you cannot have two monster type mods like undead and demonic, or two ground mods like flames and of ice. A mod description like players have 15, 20, 25% less area of effect means players have 15% reduced AoE on low tier maps, 20% on mid tier maps, and 25% on high tier maps. Alright, so here's his key here. So we can see that mods can spawn on low tier maps depending on the color. Mods can spawn on mid tier maps as we become more red and then purple. Mods become more dangerous on higher tier maps. So he's got monster type mods right here with a description for the mods. So areas inhabited by goatmen, skeletons, etc. And this is the mod that he's going here for the description. He's got monsters that get added here. He's got monster defenses that get added here. So whether or not they're armored or they've got added elemental resistance. Offensive monsters, so whether or not they can crit you, whether or not they deal extra elemental damage. Monster offense plus defense mods, so endurance charges, power charges, frenzy charges. Player impairment mods, so whether or not you've got desecrated ground, whether or not you're slowed, whether or not you've got energy regen, energy shield regen down, or life regen down. Or hampered in any way. So he's got this wonderful map affixes tool right here. It's got its whole page dedicated to it, to where he talks about the different affixes. So if you ever get a map and you wonder, hey, what does this affix mean and is it good for me? Well, you can go take a look. So for instance, if let's say you rolled a map that says area is inhabited by demons and it says whipping tentacle miscreations, avian wretches, and void bears make up the most dangerous of the demons. Okay, you just go, hey, I now know, oh, I don't want to deal with those avian wretches and void bears because my build doesn't like them, or I've been killed by them before in hardcore, so I don't want to deal with them. Or you go, hey, my build doesn't care about them, I'd love to go wreck those. Or let's say you're using Queen of the Forest, and so you've got reduced damage taken from animals. Well, areas inhabited by animals, there you go. You can take advantage of that. All right, so let's take a look at the tier 1 through 5 maps as he's got them rated. So we've got tier 1, dungeon, beach, graveyard, and lookout. So clearing ability, he's got ranked as 1 dungeon, which means it's really, really hard. Beach is easiest, which he's got rated as a 9, just probably because beach is basically shaped straight. I mean, it's such a straight line. It's so great. Mob count, though, it's really low on the beach, whereas mob count in the dungeon is really high. So clearing ability is low, but mob count's high. Boss difficulty, relatively high on the dungeon, whereas relatively low on the beach. So there I see he's inverted his numbers, so he's not using a consistent count there. So just make sure that you look at the color, not the number. Okay, he's also got all of this linked, so if you want to read more about the boss, you simply click on the boss, and then it's going to open up for you a new tab that's going to tell you a little bit more about the map as well as the boss, so you can go and take a look there. All of those links are to the PoE Wikia, which is not an official GGG product, but it's at least something, so that way you can get some more info. He's also got some notes on all of the bosses and what they do, which is great. So if you're ever wondering, hey, is this a boss that uses a particular move that is going to stun me? Or does this boss have a move that could potentially 100 to 0 me if he crits? Right? That's all very helpful to know. All right, then he's got some layout notes here. So few obstacles, boss is not in own room, outdoors, and linear. So if you're just looking for a straight line map, so I know last league I ran a character that just basically wanted to play straight line, narrow, confined areas. I wasn't using increased AoE for anything, because I was just using my specters. I just wanted to run in a straight line, basically shield charge, and have my specters follow along behind me and blow everything up. So I was all about linear maps, whereas a buddy of mine in G3 was running a totem build, and he wanted everything to be open, and he could care less whether or not it was linear or not, because he was just going to drop totems. If it was a dungeon map, let's say, and there were doors in the way, it doesn't matter, just going to throw totems, and the totems are going to AoE burst everything. So depending on your map, that can be really, really helpful. And then he also gives you the 3-to-1 trade conversion over here on the right-hand side. So let's say you've got 3 of a particular map and you want to trade up to get the next tier map up. That's particularly helpful early on in the league. He gives you what it's going to be the outcome as well. So if you've got a bunch of low-level maps that you don't want to run anymore and you want to trade them up, all that info is included in on this map. So if you're wondering, hey, what's the best tier to shape, or what's the best tier to map on, it all depends. Are you going to boss? Do you want mob density? Do you want clear out layout? Do you want something with almost no obstacles? Do you want something that's wide open? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give on? This is a fantastic document with tons of resources, and he goes from tier 1 through 5, he goes tier 6 through 10, and he goes all the way up tier 11 through 16, and he also includes even unique maps with the description of unique maps. So let's say you've never run a particular unique map. Let's say you've never run Care Blad, the Wolfpack's Den, before. You can now go and do a read-up on the map and exactly what that map looks like if you've never done it before, which is just really, really helpful. And again, all of those other helpful descriptors, clearing ability, boss difficulty, the base map, and then layout notes are all included there. So he's got the key FAQ, so if you're wondering anything about, hey, what does this particular number mean, or what does this particular color mean, or what's this particular acronym mean, he's got all that included on here. Anyway, so if you're looking for a map reference guide, highly, highly recommend it. It's all down below in the video information, a direct link to this. So thanks so much to Lifeinagildedcage, because this is an awesome, awesome map tool. Seriously, dude, like, this is some really great work, and I know I'm personally going to be using this and taking advantage of it as I choose to shape maps, and as I choose just to build my atlas and which maps to run to be profitable on for my build. So highly, highly recommend it to everybody else. And again, just props to Lifeinagildedcage, because this is some awesome, awesome work. This is like my favorite thing about PoE personally is, yes, GG puts out this awesome game, but then they also let and encourage all of these different third-party users to come up with all this different stuff. And we wouldn't have this if GGG just handed us all of this info in a notebook, or in a wiki site, or in some sort of database where we had all of these numbers. Like, this is awesome. I know on the one hand you go, oh, well, us players, we've got to come up with all these different numbers in Theorycraft. Yes, we have to do that, but look at what we're able to do as a gaming community when we're denied just a little bit of information about the game, and then we've got to go out ourselves and put that together. So anyway, thanks again, once again, so much to Lifeinagildedcage. All credit to him for putting this together, and the direct link is below. And if you've got any comments, of course, leave them down below. Is this helpful to you at all as you're making a decision in mapping, or in shaping your maps and in shaping your atlas? Do you have any other tools that you use that you'd recommend? Leave us a comment down below, and maybe we'll even do a video guide review of something that you've put together, or something that you found helpful in the past. Thanks so much, Exiles. Catch you all out there in Ray Class.